Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I am talking about she starts chasing when you stop caring, okay? So what's really cool about this is that it doesn't mean that you're mean or horrible or anything like that, but that's not what I mean by stop caring. What I mean by stop caring is you become less attached to the outcome. So if this is an ex that you're dealing with, you become less attached to them coming back. Become more detached about it. Start to care less about them coming back. Okay? Because in reality, if you are really clinging on to hope, really clinging on that this person is going to come back, because you feel so intensely about it, you're more likely to make mistakes. You're more likely to reach out to them on a day where you feel particularly lonely or sad, or if you're drunk or intoxicated in some other kind of way. You're more likely to make an emotional move. Whereas if you become less emotional and you walk away, you apply the no contact rule, you're very blasé about it, you're like, well, if they come back, that's cool, but if they don't, that's also cool. Either they're going to come back or I'm going to find someone better. Right? If you have that attitude, you're not going to make mistakes because you don't care as much, right? You are feeling less intense about it, okay? And the same goes for if you're dating someone. If you just go into a date, of like, I'm just going to see how things go with this person. I'm just going to see how things go with this girl, That's a much better mindset than, oh God, I hope she likes me. I hope she likes me. I hope she likes me. Because if you're in that frame of like, oh no, I need to prove myself and I hope she likes me, you're going to make mistakes and you're not going to be your authentic true self because you're too busy people pleasing and trying to get them to like you, right? As opposed to just being yourself and just sitting there and, having a good time and having, a blast yourself, and just enjoying this person's company, as opposed to being so worried about them, like if they like you or not, right? So you got to be more authentic, you got to be more real, right? And you can only do that when you feel more relaxed about the situation, when you feel less attached to it, right? And that's when you can really just be who you are, right? And that's when you're becoming your most authentic self, and that person who you're dating or your ex can see you for who you truly are. Right? And that's what you want. You want them to be able to see the real you, not the fearful you, not the one that's worried about whether or not they like you or whether or not they're coming back, right? They should see you for who you truly are when you're normal, when you're acting and behaving, when you are relaxed and normal. Because you're not acting yourself when you're needy. You're not acting yourself when you're worried about the outcome. You're in a fearful state. You're not in your normal, relaxed state, okay? So that's something that you should really consider. So seeing where things go when you're dating is an amazing mentality to have, right? When you first start dating someone new, okay? And that should be your mentality to begin with, okay? So the reason why it's important then not to be cold to her, because sometimes I feel like people get the wrong impression with videos like, oh, you need to stop caring. That doesn't mean that you start treating her badly or being horrible to her, being cold to her, being mean or anything like that. That's not what that means, okay? And the reason why it's important not to do that is because if she comes to you, right, and she's, reaching out to you and you're cold and you're mean to her, that's just going to repel her. She's not going to want to hang around with you if you're always mean to her or cold to her and you're telling her that you don't care about her. Because they'll just push her away 100% and you'll never hear from her again, okay? It's really important that you're not mean or you're not cold to her. Because basically, if you want someone to like you, if you want a woman to love you, and if you want her to like you, she has to feel positive around you, right? And positive reinforcement is the best way that you can do that, right? Not negative reinforcement like being cold or mean. Because if you're giving her negative reinforcement, she's going to want to turn away from you. But if you're giving her positive reinforcement, like when she reaches out to you, you're always happy to hear from her, when you meet up on a date, you're always warm and receptive. You're making her laugh, having a good time. You're enjoying yourself as well. She's going to want to be around you more. She's going to want to be more around someone who does that than someone who's going to ignore her and be cold to her and be mean, right? That's not going to help her attraction for you. What's going to help her attraction for you is if she feels positive towards you, not negative, Okay. But also as well, you don't want to be someone who cares way too much. You don't want to be one of these really needy, people-pleasing kind of people that when they start dating, they do way too much. Like, for example, with my wife, where before she started dating me, she was dating a girl who sent her 2 bunches of flowers after just one date, and was sending her messages like, oh, I'm so sorry, we're sending 2 flowers, we're sending 2 bunch of flowers too much. Did I put you off? Do you still like me? Do you still want to hang out with me? Do you still like me? You know, things like that. And it completely put my wife off because this girl was just acting way too needy and way too, basically treating my wife better than what she deserved to be treated, basically. Because, and what I mean by that is, right, is she was giving her way too much attention that my wife didn't deserve. Because my wife, you know, she wants to be treated like an equal. And that's luckily something that I did right when I first met her. I didn't, you know, shower her with flowers and things like that. I never did anything like that. I only bought flowers for her when we got into a relationship, not just after one date, right? Because what it does is when a woman gets showered with too much stuff too soon, like after a first date, for example, they start to feel uncomfortable. They start to feel like now they're in debt to the other person, right? And they know something is off. They feel like, I haven't done anything to deserve this. We just went out on one date. We just had dinner together. That was it. And now they're sending me flowers. What's that all about? That's way too much. You know, when I first met my wife, you know, I reached out to her. We matched on Tinder. I asked her out. We met up 5 days later. In between those days, there was no contact, right? We set up a date. We went on that date. We just got to know each other. And then 5 days later, I asked her out again. We arranged another date. Again, we did the same sort of thing. We just went out for dinner, played bowling, and we even went to the cinema on that day. There was lots of things that we're doing, just sitting there getting to know each other, right? That's all that we did. And then again, I waited. After that date, we started speaking to each other a lot more. She started reaching out to me more, so we started to see each other more. But I didn't buy her anything. I didn't buy her any flowers or anything like that. I didn't. Wasn't saying like, oh, do you still like me? Do you still like me? Because it's just needy and insecure to do that kind of thing and caring way too much about someone you don't even know yet. Right? This is why it blows women's minds when someone does that, whether it's a man or a woman, sends them too much stuff after a first date or a second date. Right? It's just too much, right? Because they're like, well, they've only spent like 2 hours with me. I haven't done anything for that. They don't even know me yet. They don't know me enough, right? They don't know my personality. And here they are sending me flowers like they can't live without me, yet they don't even know who I am because we've only spent 2 hours together, right? So you have to not care so much, especially when you're dating, especially in those first few fragile stages. And if it's an ex, right, you've got to be detached from the outcome. If you want them to come back into your life, you've got to start moving on. You've got to start walking away. You've got to apply the no contact rule. Because if you're not, and you still feel really intensely about it, you're going to make an emotional move on a day when you're feeling bad, on a day when you're feeling vulnerable. So you need to get to a place where you care less about the situation, where you become detached from the outcome. You're detached as to whether or not they're going to come back into your life. And if you're dating someone, you're detached if this person is going to turn into your girlfriend or boyfriend. You're detached from it completely, right? You're just seeing where things go. You're just seeing how things pan out. You're just trying to find out who this person is. You become much more relaxed about it, okay? When you stop caring so much, that then opens the door, that opens the window, right? For them to start pursuing you, for them to start coming towards you and start chasing you, okay? And that's ultimately what you've got to learn from this. You've got to remain detached, right? Because that's when usually things start working out. If you're detached when you're dating, then you're going to have much more better dates, and those dates are going to lead to more romantic relationships. If it's with your ex, right, if you're detached, it's more likely that they're going to come back because you're not going to make any mistakes with the no contact rule and go back on the no contact rule and break no contact, basically, okay? So you have to remain detached. Things will work out if you are detached. And guess what? If you're detached from the outcome and your ex doesn't come back, it doesn't matter because you're detached. And if it doesn't work out with someone that you're dating, it doesn't matter because you're detached. It may sting a little bit. It may be, oh, damn, you know what? I really wish things would have worked out between us. I really wish that. I really wish that had happened. But you know what? It didn't, and that's okay. I'm just going to find someone new. Because the best news is, especially about an ex, is that you're either going to get your ex back or you're just going to find someone better. And believe me, better is definitely out there for you. So thank you so much for watching. If you would like to get in touch with me personally and you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com and I shall talk to you guys again very soon. Goodbye.